On behalf of ISKCON Scarborough, I would like to welcome each one of you. Brahma Bhuvana Loka Punar Avartinorjuna Mamupetyat Kaunteya Punar Janmana Vidyate. Brahma Bhuvana Loka Punar Avartinorjuna Mamupetyat Kaunteya Punar Janmana Vidyate. Jnana Yogi, Hatha Yogi, etc. So these are different forms of yoga: Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Hatha Yoga, which is part of Ashtanga Yoga. It is also called as Raja Yoga. So these are different terms of yogas, different types of yogas that most of you would have heard. So it is Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, Raja Yoga, and finally it's Bhakti Yoga. Before we go into different types of yoga, we need to understand what do we mean by yoga. So yoga means to connect with something. So yoga means to connect or attach to something. That is the meaning of yoga. And so if you have to connect something, that means you need to have two different things. So you need to connect one with something else. So what are the two things that have to get connected in this terminology of yoga? So what are the two things that need to get connected is the soul with that of the super soul. So that is a generally accepted definition of yoga. To connect the soul, which is what we are, with the super soul, which is the Paramatma in our heart. So that is called yoga. But then the misconception here is sometimes it is some of the people think that it is merging with the Supreme. So that is not what yoga is according to Srila Prabhupada, because Adi Shankara taught about this monism. Monism means one. Everything is one. Everything in Brahma Jyoti is one. Your God, I am God, table is God, everything is God. So that is monism or non-dualism. Dual means two, non-dualism means same, which is like monism. Everything in Brahma Jyoti is what God is. That is the teaching of Adi Shankara, which was refuted by Ramanuja later on and by Madhavacharya, as well as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who introduced this Achitya Veda concept later on. So it's not merging, but it is connecting. So the soul is connecting with the super soul. That is what we call as yoga. And this Advaita Vedanta philosophy or impersonalism is what teaches that everything is Brahma Jyoti. And that is not Vaishnavas agree upon. So our philosophy is different. So we are different from Super Soul or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Supreme Personality of Godhead is a personal feature of the Lord, Bhagavan. So that is what is called as yoga. Yoga means connect with soul, with the Super Soul. That is yoga. And some of the people who are not well versed with this Vedic tradition think that yoga is some sort of exercise which will also relieve some sort of tension or pressure. So this is true, it's a byproduct of yoga, but those who are familiar with this Vedic tradition knows that yoga means reviving our spiritual consciousness with God so that we can link or connect with the Supreme. So that is the definition of what yoga is. And in this purport, Prabhupada is referring to different types of yoga: Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Hatha Yoga, etc. Karma Yoga. Karma means action. Karma means action. So yoga means link or connect. So how we can connect to the Supreme? By action. So that is Karma Yoga. It's a science of perfection. Science of perfection in action is called as Karma Yoga. Again, the definition of Karma Yoga is science of perfection through action is Karma Yoga. That means we offer the results to the Lord, or whatever we do it as an offering for the Lord. That is Karma Yoga. And the perfection of Karma Yoga is explained in Bhagavad Gita in the verse 27 in the 9th chapter. So we are in 8:17 now, in 9.27. which is one verse after the famous verse Patram Pushpam, which is 9.26, chapter 9, verse 26. And chapter 9, verse 27 is Yat karoshi yadashnashi yat juhosi dadasi yat tapasyasi kaunteya tat kurushva madarpanam. Here Lord Krishna is explaining, Arjun, whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer as sacrifice, offer it to me. So that is the teaching of Lord Krishna to Arjun in 9.27. So that is the perfection of Karma Yoga. Whatever you do, you offer it to the Lord. So we have to work, we have to go to school, so we have to do different activities. But the results, if you offer it to the Lord, that is the perfection of Karma Yoga. We also need to know what is the difference between Karma and Karma Yoga. This is often confused by a lot of people. So Karma, as we discussed, it's action. But Karma, that is action done for one's own sense gratification, is Karma. And Karma Yoga is action performed for the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is Karma Yoga. So that's the difference between Karma and Karma Yoga. And the second form of yoga that Prabhupada is explaining here is Jnana Yoga. What is Jnana Yoga? Jnana means knowledge. Om Jnana Timirindasya Jnananjana. We just said that verse. So Jnana means knowledge. Jnana means knowledge. So the science of perfection through knowledge and wisdom is Jnana Yoga. So it is not just, Prabhupada explains, Jnana means not somebody getting PhD, double PhD. That is material knowledge. But in this context, Jnana Yoga in the true sense is getting knowledge about who we are. So we are not the body, we are the spirit soul. What is our constitutional position with regard to Lord? We are the eternal servitors of the Lord. Who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead? What is karma? What are three modes of material nature? What is death? Why are we dying? Where are we coming from? Where are we going? Those are all knowledge and wisdom in scriptural writing. So that is jnana. So that is science of perfection through knowledge and wisdom is Jnana Yoga. And what is the perfection of Jnana Yoga? It is also stated in Bhagavad Gita. This time it is in 7th chapter, 19th verse. So the English translation is, Lord Krishna is explaining, after many, many births and death, one who's in knowledge completely surrenders unto me, as I am the cause of all causes, root cause of all causes. Yatataro Mula Nishchina, there's a wonderful verse in Srimad Bhagavatam. There's, if you pour water to the root, then every part of the root is energized. So if you put food to the stomach, every part of the body is energized. So that way, it is said in Srimad Bhagavatam, if you worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, He's the root, He's the cause of all causes, the root of everything. So you pour water to the root, you don't have to pour water to the fruit, to the leaf separately, we cannot. So you take care of the root, you take care of the stomach, every part of the body is energized. So here Krishna is saying, the height of perfection of Jnana Yoga is one who, after many, many births and death, in pure knowledge, totally surrenders unto Him as He is the cause of all causes. And now what is the perfection, ultimate perfection of Jnana Yoga? It is there in 18th chapter. I think it's 18.66. Sarvadharman parityaja mamekam sharanam vraja. Abandon all varieties of religion and surrender unto me. So the word surrender. So that is the ultimate perfection of Jnana Yoga. So we've seen what is karma, what is karma yoga, what is jnana, what is jnana yoga. What is Ashtanga yoga? Ashta means 8. Ashtasakis, Ashtakam means 8. There are 8 limbs in this Ashtanga yoga. It is also called as Raja Yoga. Raja means royal. So it's a royal yoga. And also it's called as Ashtanga Yoga. Ashtanga means 8 limbs. What are the 8 limbs of Ashtanga Yoga? Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama. So Yama means don'ts. Like when you go to the doctor, when somebody is sick, the doctor will tell you, these are the things that you should do. These are the things that you should not do. Somebody's got diabetes. He's a diabetic patient, so the doctor says, you have to do all these things. So take this medicine, take this, eat only this type of food. But don't eat this, don't eat sugar, don't eat anything. So do's and don'ts. So yama means don'ts. For example, no, illicit sex, no intoxication, no gambling, no meat eating, no stealing. All that is there. It's called yama. It's one of the limbs of this Ashtanga Yoga. What is niyama? Niyama means do's. What are the do's? Associate with devotees, eat prasadam, read the scriptures, be self-satisfied. All those are do's. So yama, niyama. What is asana? Asana means postures, different bodily postures. Like you've seen yoga, people who are practicing yoga, so they have different bodily postures. So that is asana. And then pranayama. What is pranayama? Breath control. You take a deep breath through one of your nostrils, hold both your nostrils, and then exhale through the other nostril, and then take a deep breath through this nostril that you left the air, and then hold it again, and then exhale through the other nostril. This is one type of pranayama. So it calms your mind. So you can try it at home. Very easy to do. So this is called pranayama. You can control your mind with this. These are the four limbs of Ashtanga Yoga. But then it goes on. The fifth one is controlling your senses from the sense objects. Something is very attractive. So how do you control your senses from the sense objects? So that is one of the limbs. And then controlling sense from sense objects. Then we have concentration. How do you concentrate at the same point? Then we have meditation. So concentration, meditation. Usually it is done by yogi practitioners that they focus between the eyebrows. So they focus on this point. So that is concentration, meditation, and the last limb, eighth limb is samadhi. Samadhi is trance. So this is Ashtanga Yoga. And what one gets when they practice Ashtanga Yoga, perfection in Ashtanga Yoga, one gets the 8 mystic perfections. And what are the mystic perfections? Like Anima, Lahima, Mahima. You can become smaller than the smallest, bigger than the biggest, heavier than the heaviest. So all this is possible by Ashtanga yogis. But Prabhupada clearly mentions these are all distractions. So they get deeper into this and they take their focus away from God consciousness or devotional service. So these are all different. So when Karma yogis perfect their Karma Yoga, then they go to Jnana Yoga. Then they come to Ashtanga Yoga. Finally, they have to come to Bhakti Yoga. So Bhakti Yoga is the ultimate destination of all other yogic practices. So all roads lead to the same destination, they say. So all the other yogic practices will have to end in Bhakti Yoga. And what is the definition of Bhakti Yoga? Talk about Bhakti Yoga Prabhu is here. Hare Krishna Prabhu. So what is the definition of Bhakti Yoga? In Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, there is a definition of what is devotional service or Bhakti Yoga. Devotional service is Bhakti Yoga. What is the definition? Anybody remembers? Sarvopadi vinirmuktam tatparatvena nirmalam rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhakti yukchate. That means when we engage all our senses in the service of the Lord, it is devotional service. And it also, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu also explains what is the definition of pure devotional service. Anya vilasita sunyam. Sunyam means zero. Anya vilasita sunyam jnana karma dhanamritam anukulyena krishnenu siranam bhaktir uttama. Means when we engage all our senses only for the satisfaction of the Lord, that is pure devotional service. So that is the difference between devotional service, pure devotional service, or what is called as Bhakti Yoga. And also, what are the 2 types of Bhakti Yoga? That is also given by Srila Prabhupada from the Vedic literature. 2 types of Bhakti Yoga are Vaidhi Bhakti and Raganuga Bhakti. Vaidhi Bhakti means following the rules and regulations. According to the rules and regulations, we offer worship to the Lord. That is the beginning process. But the advanced process of Bhakti Yoga is Raganuga Bhakti, means spontaneous, undiluted, loving devotion to the Lord. That is the Raganuga Bhakti. So that is the brief introduction to different types of yoga practices that Prabhupada is explaining. Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, and then finally Bhakti Yoga. So in the one of the lectures that I was listening the other day by Prabhupada, 1969 in Los Angeles. So he's explaining about the different yoga practices, and he's giving a wonderful analogy that easily all of us can understand. He's saying, Prabhupada is quoting, that we have to go on top of the 100th floor. There are staircases that leads us up to the 100th floor. So there are different staircases. All these staircases are different forms of yoga. So you have Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, etc. The final destination is attaining the Supreme and Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Prabhupada is saying somebody may be in the 15th floor, somebody may be in the 25th floor. So we are not in any of the floor, and when we aim, we can't go to that 15th floor or 24th floor and be satisfied. Yes, I have achieved this, I am happy with it. No, he's saying, no, then we are misusing our free will. So we have this ultimate aim to go to the 100th floor. So either we go through all these difficult processes, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, etc. All this tough, Hatha Yoga is part of this Ashtanga Yoga. We can go through all these difficult postures and controlling of the mind, or Prabhupada says we can take the elevator. Bhakti Yoga is the elevator. We take it from the ground floor right up to the 100th floor. So that is the gift that Prabhupada has given us, Bhakti Yoga, which is devotional service. So what is devotional service? You may be wondering. It's a very science of achieving perfection through devotion to the Lord. And what are the different types of devotional services? Again, Prahlad Maharaj has explained this wonderfully well. We discussed this last week as well, which is in the 7th canto. What are the different 9 processes of devotional service? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, and Atma Nivedanam. Shravana means hearing, chanting, remembering the Lord, offering worship to the feet of the Lord. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, offering worship, Vandanam, offering prayers, becoming a servant of the Lord, becoming the friend of the Lord, and offering everything to the Lord. And who's one of the devotees who offered everything to the Lord? Ambarish Maharaj. He offered everything. With his eyes, he looked at the deities. With his hands, he cleaned the temple. With his legs, he went to holy dhams and he went to different temples using his legs. With his head, he bowed down. So he used every part of his body, mind and senses towards the devotional service of the Lord. So that is a brief introduction to the different yoga systems that we have. So in this verse, Lord Krishna is again explaining about Brahma Bhuvana Loka Punaravarti Nojana Mahupetati Kaunteya Punarjanma Navidyate. 2 words are repeating from the previous verse that we read last week, which is 8.15. Mahupetati Kaunteya Punarjanma Navidyate, and last week's verse is Mahupetya Punarjanma Dukkalayam Asasvatam. So Mahupetya, and here also you get Mahupetya. So those 2 words are repeating in 8.15 and 8.16. So those who attain me, that is the meaning of Mahupetya. And in the last verse, Lord Krishna explained about Dukkalayam Asasvatam, and in this verse he is explaining a little bit more about what is this Dukkha Alayam, the length and breadth of how much it expands. Dukkha and Alayam. Dukkha means sad or misery, and Alayam means it's like an abode. So this abode of misery, in this verse, Krishna explains, it extends from the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest. We briefly discussed this as well last week, but for those of you who are new, and again it warrants us to discuss this from the highest planet to the lowest planet again in this verse. So in this Vedic cosmology, we know that there are 14 planetary systems. So we are not talking about the 9 planets that we are all aware of, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, up to the Pluto. So that is not we are talking about. That is a very, very insignificant part of this one big universe. So this universe has got 14 planetary systems. So we are all in Bhuloka. Then above us we have Bhuloka, then Bhuvarloka, Swargaloka, Mahaloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, and Satyaloka. So the highest planet in the material world, when we say material world, means not of Earth. It is referred to, it is actually one universe. So the highest planet in this material world or the one universe is Brahmaloka or Satyaloka, where that's where Lord Brahma resides. And below us we have Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahatala, Rasatala and Patala. So those are 7 planetary systems below us, and we are there as 8, and then we have above us 7 more. So we have total of 14 planetary systems we have. And Lord Krishna is explaining all are places of misery. So again, this is not, it may sound a little bit negative, but it is very realistic. Now, here the manufacturer, if I may use that word, so the manufacturer of the spiritual and material world is Lord Krishna, because in 10.8, Aham Sarvasya Prabho. So Lord Krishna is explaining, Aham Sarvasya Prabho Matta Sarva Pravartate. That means, I am the source of material and spiritual world, and everything emanates from me. So Lord Krishna is the manufacturer, and here the manufacturer is giving a guarantee. From the highest planet to the lowest planet, all are places of misery. And all of us, what is misery? Misery means something that is unwanted. What we want, we don't get. What we don't want, we get. Every day we see this. Right? What we don't want, forced upon us. We don't want unhappiness, it is forced upon us. What we want, we don't get it all the time, or when we have it, our sense of enjoying that is taken away from us. And all of us are going through this, floating in this ocean of material existence all the time. Sometimes all these dualities, victory, defeat, pleasure, pain, happiness, distress, birth, death, all these are called dualities. So the dualities are taking up high when everything is going on well, and then it slams us down. So we're going through these waves in this ocean of material existence. Those are the dualities that we have to go through. And we were discussing this small story in the radio program last week as well. The same object gives us happiness and distress as well. There is a nice story. It's called. It's supposed to be called as never-ending story. Father and a son, they go to a forest, and then they see a beautiful white horse. Unbelievably beautiful white horse. So they were sad because it was so dark initially in the forest. It was muggy, raining. So they were not very happy. So they were sad. They see this beautiful white horse. They are extremely happy. So from being sad, now they're going up in the wave of material. They're very happy with this horse. So both of them climb on this horse and they go back home. They're ecstatic. They're very, very pleased. And then they go back home. And this boy starts riding this horse again and again and again. The horse starts running faster. One day, he falls from the horse. The boy falls from the horse down, breaks his leg. He's got a severe fracture on his left leg. Now, the boy is so sad. The father is so sad. The same horse. Now, it gives them the displeasure. And what happens? So the boy is got his cast and he's lying down in the bed, very, very sad and unhappy. Because of this horse, I'm so unhappy now. Before he was happy, now he's unhappy. And then the military men come. They are recruiting people. They want people who are young, between one age group and another age group. And this boy perfectly fits into this category. So this army people come and then they say, hey, you, come and join the army. We need some people. And then he's not able to get up and he's got all this cash. And they say, oh, no, it's not worth taking this person to our army. Forget him. So he was worried, his father was worried if he goes to the army, he may get killed. And because he had the fracture, which was because of the horse, now they say, no, he doesn't have to come. So he is so happy now. So this, and the story goes on and on and on. So, happy, sadness, it goes. So all of us are riding this wave of pleasure and pain all the time. And it's from 8.15, we know it's Dukkalayam Asasvatam, temporary. There is a beginning, there is an end, and we are all going. But some of us may wonder, but I do have some happiness too. It's not all the time it's misery, which is true. Prabhupada, I've taken few of these analysis from Prabhupada's various lectures, so we'll try to go through them. Prabhupada says, yes, we do have happiness, but it is, as we discussed last week, flickering, fleeting, ephemeral, transient, momentary pleasures. It's not long-lasting. It's got a beginning and an end, and it is usually very, very short. And it is like Prabhupada gives an analogy. It's like when you're really, really thirsty, you're in the desert, somebody gives you a drop of water. That's it, no more. So drop of water. Oh, you need more. But in this material world, the pleasure and the happiness is like getting the drop of water. You want more, so you hanker for more, so it's never ending. So that is, so pleasure is there, but it is momentary. And then somebody may ask, if Krishna is saying, we are in Dukkalayam Asasvatam, abode of misery, then why everybody is looking for happiness? Why is everybody looking for happiness? Because it is from Vedanta Sutra we get to know that we are all pleasure-seeking individuals, because as spirit soul we are eternal, full of knowledge and full of bliss, Sachidananda. We are Sachidananda because we are parts and parcel of the Supreme. So we are pleasure-seeking, but what we have is this material body. In this material body which is temporary, we are spirit soul which is permanent. So this is compatibility issue. We cannot enjoy with this temporary body in this Dukkalayam Asasvatam. It is like Prabhupada says in another lecture, it is like a fish out of the water. So our home is not this, which is Vaikuntha, or the highest planet is Goloka Vrindavan. We are like fish out of the water. Just think of a fish. We take a fish out of water. Is the fish happy? He wants to go back to water, like how we have to go back home, back to Godhead for us to enjoy. Take that fish, give him the best Armani suit, stitch a nice suit for him the size of a fish. Is he going to be happy? Give him the best Lamborghini car, whatever the best car is, give him the best car, make him sit in the best car. He's not happy. Take him to the best 5-star hotel. He's not happy. All he wants is to go back into the water. And the next one is, pleasure or happiness is always relative. Have you noticed that? Prabhupada clearly explains, the pleasure or happiness is always relative. For somebody, if he buys a huge palace, palatial house, he's happy. But for someone else, he buys a nice small townhouse, he's happy. So the happiness is always relative. It's not always one person's happiness is other person's happiness. It's always relative. And the next one is, it is also short-lived. Happiness, actually, as we discussed, is always short-lived, and we also discussed this last week. When we go on an all-inclusive paid vacation to Cuba or Mexico or Jamaica, 7 days, everything is paid for, and you go to a cruise or go to a resort. First day itself, it's 7 days. So -7, only 6 more days to go, only 5 more days to go, 4 more days to go. So your enjoyment is diminished because you know it is going to end at some point. So it is short-lived. We talked about this example of somebody having great food, non-devotee, they go to a 5-star hotel and they're very happy that they ate the best food. There is happiness there, but it's short-lived. After 3 hours, again he's hungry. So it is short-lived. And also, happiness, Prabhupada says, temporary relief of misery is also considered as happiness. Temporary relief of misery is also considered happiness. How is that? Can you think of an example? Prabhupada is giving an example. If you take somebody's head, push him into this water, he can't breathe, he's struggling inside the water. And then after 30 seconds, 35 seconds, pull his head out. He's so happy. He's taking a deep breath, he's so happy. So the momentary relief of misery is also considered by some as pleasure. And Prabhupada again gives another example of a camel. Camel in a desert, there is no leaves, there is no flower. This camel is happily eating thorns, very sharp thorns in desert. He's eating. And when he's eating, there is blood coming from his mouth. And when he's chewing and he's swallowing it, the taste of blood goes through his tongue to his stomach, his own blood. And he's very happy. He thinks it's the taste of this thorn, but he's actually going through this agony. And illicit pleasure gives us a lot of agony too. It is quoted, Prabhupada said, it is like a razor blade in the edges and quote honey. Honey coated razor blade. Somebody is thinking, wow, this is honey. They keep licking the honey. At some point it's going to get you, the razor blade is there right behind them. And another analogy Prabhupada is giving is, it's like a sugar-coated poison pill. So it'll be nice in the beginning, nice, sweet, sugar-coated, but sooner than later it's going to get you because poison is inside. So that is an analogy. And we talked about momentary pleasure or temporary relief from misery is also pleasure. Again, Prabhu was giving this wonderful story last Saturday in the radio program. One person is running and because a tiger is chasing him, he's running so fast and he falls into a blind well. He's about to fall into the blind well. There is a tree branch that is hanging. He somehow was able to catch that branch and he's hanging there. Down, it's so deep, if he falls down, it's death. Upstairs, he's seeing this tiger is waiting to bite him and kill him. So, between, they say, Silla and Charybdis, right? Between devil and the deep sea, what can he choose? And at that time, he's opening his mouth. From the beehive, some drops of honey is falling into his mouth. And he thinks it's wonderful pleasure. So, this is another example of how precarious life is. Padam padam yat vipadam. There is danger at every step. We all know that. We go on a, we're going in, say 50 kilometer zone, we're going in 50 kilometer zone, early in the morning, clear blue sky, nice breeze, everything is fine in our life. We're going in the car. Suddenly, there is a flat tire. We'll have a flat tire sometimes. Have you seen this? We get or we cannot avoid this. There's a flat tire. Same example, beautiful day, nice breeze, we are traveling. Suddenly you see the blue and red, dreaded blue and red light behind us. Police. Sir, 50 kilometers, you're going at 72 kilometers per hour. Here's the 3 demerit points with the ticket. Anything can happen. It's the staircase that we've been climbing up and coming down in our house thousands of times. Suddenly one day we trip and fall down, fracture. Anything can happen at any given time. Routine blood test. We go, suddenly a shocking discovery in the blood test. Oh, the doctor said you have a serious problem, whatever it is, cholesterol or diabetes. If you're lucky, it is only that, it could be much serious. So things can, padam padam yat vipadam, there is danger at every step. Last week we got to know that there was a lawyer, her house went on fire during the day. She was at work, husband was at work, they had 2 children, they were in another room. Suddenly from one room where they were not using, it was an elder daughter's room, from there mystically there was a fire. In no time, they couldn't put the fire out, they called the fire station. Before they can come, the whole house was engulfed and flamed. They lost everything, all their certificates. Just imagine, all their degree certificates. It's going to be a nightmare for them to get everything. This really happened last Friday. Nobody knows. There's still investigation how this happened. During broad daylight, when 2 daughters are already there in the other room. Anything can happen at any time. Rockefeller, many years ago, you may have heard this. Rockefeller, he was one of the richest person in America. His son was studying anthropology. He went to Papua New Guinea, and there were man-eating cannibals there, and he was doing a research on them. So he went, he did good research, everything was okay. When he came back in a boat to come back to his ship, there was a problem in this boat, which was close to the shore, so he swam to the shore, and then he did not return at all. So the richest man, he was a billionaire many years ago, his father. He tried to send so many people, investigators, police, everybody. Then finally they found out the research that he did on the people, the man-eating people, they themselves ate it. So anytime, anything can happen. We all know that. And it's not just on earth. So earth, we think, oh, that beautiful snowy mountain in Switzerland, if only I have that house there, all my problems will go away. No. People who are rich, people who are in the resort, people in Switzerland, people who live in Hawaii, people who work in Apple, people who are CEOs of Apple, they also have problems, birth, death, old age and disease. Steve Jobs, who was the founder of Apple, he had pancreatic cancer. He died because of that. It's not that they are immune. Because they have money, it doesn't mean that they are exempt from this birth, death, old age and disease. How many presidents of America have lived? Are they alive now from 100 years ago? They are gone. So birth, death, old age and disease is there for everybody on earth, whether we are rich, whether we are poor, whether we are Brahmins, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra, doesn't matter. Still we have to go through this miserable condition. We will have problems, as well as whether we are brahmachari, grihastha, we will still have this problem. Then somebody may ask, what about devotees? Devotees also go through these problems, but to a lesser degree. So that is the key. Devotees go through miseries, but to a lesser degree. Prabhupada says that. Why is that lesser degree? It is like a slap in the wrist as a punishment. Our hand is supposed to get cut off, but we'll get a cut and blood will come from there. So we should not think, oh, I got blood, what is this? Our finger was supposed to be cut off because we are devotees. That's a token punishment there. And still, why do we go through punishment? Why do we have to get punished? It is to remind us that this is not our home. When you put your hand in fire, it is burning. That is a reminder for us, this is not our home. Like a fish out of water, we are here. Our home is with Krishna. Vaikuntha. Kunta means misery. Vaikuntha means no misery. And the highest planet in Vaikuntha is Goloka Vrindavan. So it is for us to, and also it will give us the impetus. When we have these problems, even to a lesser degree, it gives us the impetus to go back home, back to God. And when we chant, we'll chant like a baby crying for his mother, according to Prabhupada. That's how we need to chant, and we get this impetus when we have problems. We are not, we follow the Mahajans. Mahajano yenagata sapanta. But we cannot follow, we cannot imitate, but we can follow. When Kunti is saying, give me more and more misery so that I can think of Lord Krishna. We are not in that platform, but we have to understand when we have suffering, it is to a very, it's diluted suffering that devotees have to go through. And when we are suffering, we have to think of this Mahajans who have gone through this and how they come out of that. Misery. What misery we go through compared to these Mahajans who have gone through misery. Haridas Thakur, 22 marketplaces, he was whipped in 22 marketplaces. Do you call that misery? Compared to the misery that we go through is infinitesimal. 22 marketplaces he was. What about Prahlad Maharaj? Prahlad Maharaj, the problems that he went through is clearly depicted in 7th canto. So what happened? Hiranyakashipu pushed him underneath the feet of mad elephants. Not only that, giant snakes were there. He pushed him through that, put him in amongst the giant snakes. Heavy stones were thrown on Prahlad Maharaj. He was rolled over from a very tall cliff. He came tumbling down several times. It's clearly there in Srimad Bhagavatam. And then he was thrown in fire. He was thrown so much of torture. So that is misery. Is our misery close to that? Our problem is, bill paying problem, job security problem. These are insignificant. And Prabhupada says the problem that all of us have is not all these. I need a boy, I need a girl, I need a job. That is not a real problem. These are temporary problems. The problems in life, main problems are birth, death, old age and disease. How to avoid this? Threefold miseries of Adhyatmika, Adhibhautika, Adhidevika. Miseries caused by one body and mind, miseries caused by other living entities, and miseries caused by natural calamities. We don't want that. That is a real problem in life. So even devotees go through this, but what we learn is to be calm during this. They say calm before storm or after storm, but this is calm during storm. So how can we be calm? There was a competition that was held when a king was ruling one of the countries, and he said, I want to see which is the best picture of peace. So one person who drew, he drew a beautiful blue sky, then a river, actually a lake, which is not moving, very quiet place. Nice, beautiful drawing he drew. For peace, perfectly matches. There was another person who did a painting, and he did this. There was so much of thunder and lightning. You can see from the picture, there was so much of lightning. Dark clouds were there. It was raining heavily, and then there was waterfalls that was falling with immense force. So there was so much of, it's not peace when you look at it. But in that tiny crack in a small mountain behind, there is a beautiful nest in that crack, and the mother bird is feeding the small baby bird. And then the king said, that is depicting peace. So peace is not when everything is nice and quiet. Peace is something, in spite of all these things surrounding us. So as devotees, we see there is turmoil around us every day. But in spite of that, we are calm and peaceful and focused on chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We have a few more minutes. So we know that in earth, it's a lot of misery. We all gone through several of these examples. But in heavenly planet, anybody thinks in heavenly planet there is problems or miseries? Or somebody thinks there's no problem? You know, many faith, they say the aim is to go to heaven, correct? But in this verse, Lord Krishna is saying, "Ah Brahma Bhuvana Loka Punaravartinojana," from the highest planet to the lowest. And we know heaven is not even the highest planet. Swargaloka is Bhuloka, Bhuvaloka, Swargaloka. Then we have Mahaloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, Satyaloka. So Krishna is saying, even heaven where 33 million demigods reside, it's not very happy. There is misery there. Several cantos. In third canto there is example when Hiranyaksha is going to fight the demigods, and the demigods vanish like snakes when they see Garuda. That's exactly the terminology that is given in Srimad Bhagavatam. So there is Adhyatmika and Adhibhautika. Even for demigods, they get scared. When Hiranyaksha went, they got scared. They vacated heavenly kingdom. Then he went to Vibhavari, which is the headquarters of Varuna, inside the ocean. And he said, "Come fight with me." Varuna said, "I am too old, I cannot fight with you." Exactly it says in Srimad Bhagavatam. So there is misery even in heavenly kingdom. In 8th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, we get to know about King Gajendra's story. This happened in Trikuta mountain, which is in the ocean of milk. And what happened there? Gajendra was caught by a crocodile and he was struggling for 1,000 years. So there is struggle even in heavenly kingdom. This is in Trikuta mountain.